La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, is a popular Mexican folk legend about the ghost of a beautiful woman who drowned her children in a fit of jealous rage and now haunts the earth seeking disobedient living children to take their place. Obviously, that's an innately cinematic-sounding ghoul and a sensible addition to the vaguely defined Conjuring cinematic universe of sort of interrelated supernatural spin-off movies, particularly as Hollywood horror producers are ever keen to find a through line to tap more directly into the growing Latino-American audience that represents an exceedingly large share of theatrical ticket sales for the genre according to box office data. Hence the Latino-focused spin-off of the Paranormal Activity movies, for example, that you may remember from a few years back. So while it's not surprising that the Curse of La Llorona sucks, largely because apart from the main series and the second Annabelle movie, all of these Conjuring universe movies have sucked for the most part, it is surprising most of the reason it sucks is because the filmmakers, for some unknown reason, have seemingly attempted to, for lack of a better word, de-Mexicanize the entire concept as much as possible, stripping La Llorona herself of all but the most incidental trappings of her specific cultural origins and actively avoiding letting Mexican or Latin American presence color the rest of the otherwise bland and lifeless proceedings in any way until the point where they can provide an unnecessarily villainous intrusion that feels preposterously hostile in context. Set in the mid-1970s San Francisco for no other reason other than to pointlessly align things with Conjuring and Annabelle continuity with a pointless cameo, the film stars Linda Cardellini as a police widow and child services agent who removes two seemingly abused young boys from the home of their panicked Mexican-American mom despite her protestations that the kids are actually endangered by the malevolent ghost of the title. When the boys wind up dead anyway, a chance encounter leads Cardellini's own young children to become La Llorona's next targets, frustrating their own already difficult home situation and forcing her to seek help from the church and ultimately an independent spiritualist who fights evil using old world techniques. Now incidentally, Cardellini's late cop husband was also Latino American and her two children are of mixed race, so if you think the film is going to miss the obvious opportunity to explore the interesting cultural intersection of her living as a single white mom to two Latino children in a mixed neighborhood being menaced by a literal specter of old Mexico, you'd absolutely be right, actually. They don't even touch that. It's sitting right there out in the open and they don't use it. And it's not like they're busy using other stuff. There's nothing going on in this movie other than marking time between, well, they left the kids alone for 5 minutes, time for the ghost to jump out and scare them a little bit until the grown-ups show up. Ironically, I instead wound up wishing they'd kept the involvement of the still thoroughly minor Latino supporting characters more absent, since when one of them does suddenly become semi-prominent again in Act 3, it's for an entirely unnecessary extra here's why all of this is happening in the first place plot twist that succeeds in turning the already bordering on bad taste subtext of a white suburbanite being assailed by an invading Mexican phantom into text in a way that I want to assume wasn't so much deliberately malicious as it was a thoughtless stab at drama that didn't pan out. In general, you get the sense that the overriding goal was to make La Llorona universal, perhaps in fear of inadvertently creating some kind of Mexican caricature villainous, but at least a caricature would be close to a character. As it stands, La Llorona is one of the most boring Conjuring monsters, maybe the most boring. She's just a generic jump scare ghost whose ill-defined powers and motifs are sometimes about water, sometimes about mirrors or vision filters, sometimes she's corporeal, sometimes she's spectral, she can teleport around, but she also has a problem with doors, except when she doesn't, and then it turns out she's got like 5 or 6 different kryptonites, plus allergies to all the usual exorcism stuff like crosses and holy water, and that comes up right at the end and they don't really use any of it. Hell, at one point they stop her for a bit by turning a whole swimming pool into holy water by blessing it, and I'm thinking, can't you just keep doing that? I mean, water is pretty plentiful. You're in San Francisco. There's a bay right there. But, you know, whatever. Boring monster, disrespectful of the stuff that it's cribbing from, bordering on mildly racist, not scary, not interesting, no reason to watch this, 1.5 star. Can this be the one that you guys don't go to see? Please? Like, can one of these things not make any money so I don't have to watch a part 2 or La Llorona versus the Nun or have her show up in Conjuring 3 or whatever else? You'd be doing me a favor, guys.